Well, good afternoon, and back again for more Suzuki Series action, the choice of champions, and our Lindsay Tate and Associates Pre-89 Post Classic, the era of these magnificent bikes out here. Bikes like Yamaha FZR 1000s, Kawasaki Z1000s, Suzuki GS 1000s, GSXR 1100s, and the list goes on. Of course, Bob Grover and his fabulous KXR 500, the conglomeration of his great Honda engine and his Kawasaki rolling chassis. And for Bob, not getting him to the start line, but and again the opportunity to have lesser numbers here at Hampton Downs than we have with all of the lights, and away we go. Oh, nice start from the back of the road, 203, and Vincent Burrell out of Hastings. Great start from the Moto Guzzi V-Sport there. Good work, Vince, and he gets away on the Burrell Signs Moto Kiwi Bellray Oils, Bellis Brothers O2 Engineering bike. So good start off that second row for our post-classics, and probably a class feeling the effects. In fact, is that Vince that's gone all the way through from there? Oh, I don't know whether it is, but I tell you what, it's pretty impressive that it is, because in these conditions, and hopefully again Spider to be drying out, but there's somebody who's made a huge cut from that second row to move his way up into there. Of course, the one we've got on our radar is Sean Donnelly for Super Sean, and very good start from him, but it's somebody with a high-flied run off that second row that have powered his way up. I think they're now back into third place potentially, or did they take that second? So Spider's going to keep an eye on them and look out for them in through that first corner. Spider looking to pick them up on that first corner. Yeah. Sean in second, we always know that one.
Yeah, Jay Lawrence in first, Sean Donnelly in second place, and Vince Burrell on the mighty Timmins of 203s of Guzzi in third place. He'll get gobbled up down the straights, but he certainly got off the line real quick. The traction of this V-twin, the sound of it's all different to everything else, and had a bad meeting at the Hampton Downs Barry Sheen Memorial meeting in he had a it caused him to eat a crank, and I was sitting there talking to him last night, and I had a look. I'm an electrician by trade, my day job, and I had a fiddle on one of his wires on his core, pulled it off. He says, "You prick." I said, "Mate, just had a poor termination, let's get this right." So it's proved. So Jay Lawrence goes through 371, followed by Sean Donnelly, and there's Duncan Coots from Whangarei in fourth spot. Number 27, you'll only see it on the front of his bike, David Castle. I don't know why this guy can't read a rule book. He's got one number on the front of his bike. How good's that? How bad's that? The man needs to pick up his rule book and read it, but he's in fourth place. So, and only 9 people in this particular race, but Terry Moran there in fifth place on the Kawasaki ZZR 600. Vince Burrell's listed as 7th. I don't know what's going on there, but Sean Donnelly, Robert Grover. So, not sure what's happening with the timing here. Let's go back onto the track and look at them coming out of the hairpin for the first time. How long are the races? Jay Lawrence, fastest man on the track on the GSX 1100 Suzuki. He put on a good showing at the Barry Sheen Memorial a few weeks ago. Was the only man that really could touch Australian Cam Donald in this class, but he still could only just touch him and just get near. He's out there on the flying bike. Now this is an interesting motorcycle. Was built by Bob Toomey, who used to race for the Wellington Motorcycle Centre and then went overseas as a Grand Prix mechanic. He got together with Richard Scott, one of our former top New Zealand and international riders. Richard said, "I want to go post-classic racing." So Bob and him built this bike with all the latest gear and the best you could do at the time, Steve Roberts airbox and that sort of thing. Over time, it's been sold off. And actually, no, that's not the bike. Sorry, I'm thinking of another bike. I'm thinking of bike number 65, Russell Barker's. Similar specs anyway, and this bike's owned by Steve Bryan. Yeah, that's right. My memory's coming back now. Must have been too many beers last night. So anyway, Jay Lawrence, a man that's been around in motorcycle racing for a few years. His old man, Andrew Lawrence, has still got one of the fastest BMWs in the world in its class. It was the K100 RS, the old shaft drive bike from the mid-80s. In fact, I was talking to him last weekend. He's trying to get a bigger wheel for it to fit modern tyres on that same bike and maybe bring it out. So that's Jay Lawrence's father, Andrew Lawrence, works for TSS Motorcycles, Red Baron in Lower Hutt. Jay works up here in the wholesale industry in Hamilton, and very quick ride on a 600 some years ago. Had a nasty accident in at Ruapuna one year, coming out of the out onto the hairpin corner and badly injured himself, so got away from that and come back. And we've seen him also at the Cliffhanger hill climb down in the Wairarapa. Set a blistering quickest ever run up there this year, and it went, the actual video went viral, went to the States, was on some sort of TV program over there, and that's Jay Lawrence. He's here out there. He knows well the conditions around Hampton Downs. He's also a very clever man when it comes to tyres and a continental expert, and that's from the wholesalers. What do you got, Neil?
Watch out for Vince Burrell, because Vince was right up there, as you'd well called, Spider. Spider in third place, and he's got right down to 7th, but I think he's fighting his way back now. 371 by 91, go to 27.3, and then looking into 5 in there at the moment. So as we look out for that top group, no, Vic got on the charges we thought he was, so wasn't going to be the place change. But I tell you what, the 91 of Duncan Coots is the man doing all the work at the moment. That's the Whangara, the GSXR 1100, and there we go for the 203. So all of a sudden, well back in the lineup. In fact, that's not just one incident, but 2 that he's had on the track, Spider, because he was behind at position 7 at the end of that last lap. He's has now come up to 6, but he's gone. We've got a yellow as well, so we're potentially missing somebody in there. Yes, we've only got 2 of them into view. We're missing 1, and still Jay in front, and still a 91 who was in third place.
And I think you'll find that probably number 27.
Yeah, 27, David Casson. I think
David Casson's gone down.
Yep.
So look, at least he didn't have a number on the side of his bike to wipe off.
So there's our number 5. By the way, folks, in your program is 124 Nigel Lennox on the Kawasaki ZX 10R on the High Ropes Access bike. So Nigel, in fact, bike number 5, pitted just in the easy up at the end of the sheds here. So some nice preparation from our High Rope Access. These are some of the people that have got to do these amazing jobs working in height areas. Of course, abseiling climbing specialists. So High Rope Access, proud to be behind him. 371 over 91. Looking out here to Duncan Coots at the moment. Duncan doing all the work. As Spider has been talking about, I share his compliments of Jay Lawrence, and nice to have Jay. Jay works under the W. White's umbrella, and they, of course, distribute Bridgestone tyres, and that's who his support comes from. So Jay, like his father, serving in the industry for many years, still the flag waving, Spider, which gives me the idea that the bike's in a prone position there, that we've still got a flag. Otherwise, I'm sure it would have been well moved, because that is now effectively a lap and a bit ago since the bike departed the track.
Flag's gone now, so that's all settled, and that's Kassan on bike number 27. Looking out for the front here. Jay Lawrence is not having it all his own way. Duncan Coots, the man from Whangara, you'll see him race this GSXR 1100, but you also see him out in the Bears, some meetings on an Aprilia V-twin, and he's napping on the heels there as they go up the centre straight. There's probably 60 or 70 metres in it, and I don't know whether Jay can hear this bike. We go down to third place. Nigel Jaffa Racing, he's on the smallest bike out there. I think he's on a little wee VFR 400. Only on the big Z1100 Kawasaki in 4th spot. Then we go down to the 600 Terry Moran. Not a big field out there. Bob Grover was entered, and Bob Grover I saw him practice earlier on today, but he's not out on the track either. So just 9 bikes. In fact, we're down to 8 bikes out there on the track with 1 down, David Kassan. So
in fact, I'm just looking out here to Bob's pits at the moment. I think that's his bike under the blue Easy Up, just directly across there. So maybe it's the conditions for Bob that he's decided to flag it, but an all-round good sport. And nice to see as well, the Vic Club recognise him for 50 years of motorcycling as well, Spider. That is an amazing accolade. So the Vic Club recognising Bob Grover's contribution. Of course, somebody has the freedom of the street at Whanganui as well, so an absolute legend of our sport, and with his super pit lady and Margaret behind him, as his lovely wife has been for so long, one of the true gentlemen of our sport, and what a great ambassador.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bob Grover has done every cemetery circuit, raced at it since 1962, with the exception of 2. Once he had a broken arm, the other was in 1975 when his bike hadn't arrived back from the Isle of Man Manx Grand Prix. So that's it. I was born in 62. He was racing back then and still doing it. I'm not racing either. Did it a bit, and then now I'm doing this. But back onto the track, we've still got plenty of action out for the lead. In fact, it looks like number 2 Duncan Coots is closing up that gap. In fact, big time. He closes it up from about 12 bike lengths to about 2 to 3 as they come around that big strip. He's getting the drive on the front straight. The Suzuki GSX 1100 of Jay Lawrence seems to just suddenly open up its legs as we come over the brow of a hill. But on the inside there, Duncan Coots, what a move there, especially in the wet conditions we've got here at Hampton Downs. There's a great move now. What is Jay Lawrence going to do about it? He's on the inside into turn 1, tries it, but no, the wider line of Duncan Coots held it, you know. In fact, that was a last-minute decision to go on the inside. Jay Lawrence come along, and it looked like he thought, I'll try on the inside. Like it wasn't a well-planned move to him. Not knocking the guy, just saying. It just looked like he sort of thought, well, I'll try something Very experienced motorcycle racer, but he's now relinquished first place down to second, and Duncan Coots is actually opening up at a gap. There's probably about 25 bike lengths in it as they go into the hairpin.
I watched that from Jay Lawrence going down into that turn number 1 Spider as well, and to see the way it was on that inside line, I thought he was going to come out stronger, but he had to go too wide, and he didn't get as good of a power out of the corner as we were watching from Duncan, so Duncan certainly advanced. Here we go, Jay looking to the inside, nice tuck on the inside, down through the barrel roll. Yes, Jay Lawrence to do it, back and front, but I tell you what, he won't be as quick out of the corner. We may see all of a sudden our roll reversed again and the big fight back going on there, so well done to Duncan. Good fight back. No, Jay's got it. So Jay Lawrence, but he had it at this point a lap ago. Remember, it's exactly a mirror image of the last lap, because here comes Duncan. Duncan Coots on the fly, the number 91 on the Planet Honda Tektronix rehab works supported GSXR 1100 as compared to the GSX 1100, so a slight difference in model, but both at least big bikes, and it's Duncan back in front, so good work there from Duncan. Duncan Coots, your race lead. Only 8 laps, white flag, we're on our last lap at the moment, but I'm loving this third place. Why? Because the number 5 down in your program is 124 Nigel Lennox for High Rope Access Limited. He's on the little Kawasaki 400. What a fantastic effort on a 400 to be out here with bikes that are virtually probably only got 150 metres on them and running, as well as Sean's bike. Not sounding the best, Spider, did you think?
I don't think I've heard Sean's bike not sounding very good, but it's definitely right on 3. He's going to go and cruise home for points. He's certainly not slowed to a point where he's but definitely was burbling fat. Now that is one of the most immaculate bikes out there. Here we go, out of the hairpin there for the last time. The white flag is out, and it is still Duncan Coots. Jay Lawrence taking that outside line now. Come to a dry meeting and watch Jay Lawrence back it in. There was something like 395 different bikes. It's still Duncan Coots coming out. There's about 390 odd bikes at the Barry Sheen Memorial. This was the man that was doing the most backing in the dry, and he started to go on that outside line, which looks like it's drying. Last thing, round this big sweeper now. Remember that Duncan Coots had the advantage here, and he's still got it. He pulls about 10 bike lengths, maybe even more, over and above Jay Lawrence coming over there. There's nothing in it left for Jay. It's just hopefully he can get home. And Coots, number 91 from Whangarei, comes through to take the checkered flag in the first of the pre-89 class here at Hampton Downs to the Suzuki Series, followed by Jay Lawrence 371, and we'll be looking out for Nigel Lennox on bike number 5 in third spot.
Right, courtesy of Lindsay Tate and Associates, proud to be financial advisors for the Wanganui Motorcycle Club Cemetery Circuit. Great to have their support. Also support from BP to go on Taupo Key and Wanganui. Of course, the best car wash in town, but that won't be having much use on Cemetery Circuit, because BP to go Taupo Key is actually closed off on the circuit, but the actual shop is still open, and apparently is one of the best days of the year.